Hi, welcome to 5 Minutes of Thought, episode number 29. I am David Wiedemann, and today we are talking about doing what you can't. Part 1, beliefs. What's the big idea today? This is it. If you want to change in a meaningful way, to really do that, you need to rewrite your beliefs and turn that red stoplight into a green stoplight. What am I talking about? Well, that's what I mean to explain today. I'm going to use four-step process, talk about organizing beliefs, protecting beliefs. I'm going to ask, so what? And then we're going to have a moment to reflect, and hopefully wondrous things will ensue. Let's start with organizing beliefs. This is the world. It's messy. Ideas, things, feelings all over the place. How do you make sense of it? Well, you create explanations, beliefs, rule systems, things that help you understand the complexity little by little. For example, in this model, you might first come to understand certain kinds of shapes. And when you have a belief or a rule system for understanding those, the world kind of looks like this. You're not seeing all the complexity, but you're seeing a big chunk of it. As you go on in life and you get a little bit more sophisticated in understanding what's going on around you, you might come up with a different set of explanations, rules, or beliefs, such as this box with the animals in it. Once you have that, more of the world is visible to you. Finally, you might then continue to develop and get your head around man-made utilitarian objects such as these four things. And when you do that, there's a little bit more of the world. But you never quite understand everything that's going on, even though you continue to grow and add beliefs and explanations and rule systems. You're always likely to be asked about a thing that's not there. In this case, someone might ask you, what about these flowers? You don't really understand yet how those flowers work or where they belong or how to get your head around them. So you might be in a quandary. This is your growth edge. The edge between what you have figured out how to understand and what is still out there. It's easier to undertake behaviors that fall in the parts of the world that you understand, and it's harder to undertake behaviors that come from the complexity that you have not yet figured out. But that's not the biggest impact on behavior. A bigger impact happens in part 2 of this presentation, protecting beliefs. Here's another view of the world. And keeping our same rule systems. Well, let's imagine that each of the little images that we were seeing in the previous slide represents a space where you can inhabit and do things and be yourself and engage different activities. Using this rule system, you really can only engage in one of these spaces, right? The first one. Because the wishbone and the flower fall outside your organizing beliefs. You don't really understand how to engage with them. So you have a world that's a little bit less available to you to be expansive and engage in different activities than it otherwise would be. But imagine, what if it weren't just that the wishbone and the flower were outside your understanding, but what if you actually understood them very well, but you had a rule system like this? You believe they were bad. What if sometime in your past something bad happened with a wishbone and a flower, and you got the idea that if you were to interact with them in any way, horrible things would happen? That would make a rule system like this, and that would change things. These areas wouldn't just be grayed out because you hadn't yet understood them. They would be blocked because you yourself would be telling yourself, don't go there. And your world would look like this. Not grayed out things that you have yet to understand, but just nothing. The space you can go where you feel safe, and the space that you don't even allow yourself to understand is even there. Why does this even matter? Well, because the red building represents current behavior. That's where you can go and do your thing and be yourself and have fun. And the space that you're not even seeing as a possibility to live in is the new behavior. That's your growth area. But to get there, here's the trick. You don't just go there. What you do is you take aim at these rule systems. If you can change these rule systems, then those spaces start to become more possible for you to expand into. Let me show you how. If you figure out a way to not feel quite so horrible about wishbones, all of a sudden you get the wishbone hospital as an option for your behavior activities. And same thing happens for flowers. If you can start to like flowers again, all of a sudden you can play in the barn of behavior. What you've effectively done, if you've done that, is you've moved the protecting belief, wishbone and flower equals death, metaphorical death, into an organizing belief. Wishbone and flower is the thing that I understand. It's okay. And that's the goal. And let's get to the so what of this presentation. So what? Here's the so what. You form organizing beliefs to help you understand complexity, and you form protecting beliefs that keep you away from things that scare the heck out of you. And the way to get to the behaviors that are meaningful that you can't do is not to worry so much about going to the places that you can't get, but to take aim at the rules that block you from getting there. Turn that red stoplight into a green stoplight. Let's pause and reflect. Trigger any thoughts, feelings, ideas. Track those down, follow those up. You may be on your own learning cycle. And finally, the advanced invitation is the cubicle challenge. Can you pop up from behind your cubicle and explain this to the person in the next cubicle? If you can, then we have met our aim. This is what we did today. We talked about organizing beliefs, protecting beliefs. We asked, so what? And we reflected. And hopefully wondrous things ensued. This was Doing What You Can't, Part 1, Beliefs. Stay tuned for Parts 2 and 3, Surfacing Beliefs and Rewriting Beliefs. And thank you for joining me for 5 Minutes of Thought episode number 29. And as usual, I leave you with a provocative image that has nothing to do with what we've talked about today, but hints at what we may be talking about in the future. This is the feeling development model. Have a great day.